Imagine you work there since you're 30, 40, 50. You're not praying that something will happen. But you forget that the older you get, the energy will come down.
Life in a world that keeps changing. Think that it's progress you're making.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Uche. I am a Nigerian and I live here in Spain with my family. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're my returning subscriber, I have noticed that I've not been saying these my lines. If you're my returning subscriber, but if you're my subscriber, you can see through my heart. I value your time. If you know me, you know that I value time. I usually say lifetime, meaning that your time to me is priceless. That's why I usually try as much as I can to make my videos, short and straight to the point, because I know that the fact that you come here, no matter what you gain, or whether you'll be entertained, whatever it is you gain, it's your time. You can choose not to, but you still decide to come here. So I appreciate your time. And if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome and stick with us. I'm very positive you're going to enjoy it here. Okay. So guys, straight to why I am sitting in front of you today. There's a reason, even off camera. If you see anybody that knows me in this country or around where I live, and he's a bachelor in Europe and he's a married man, I always preach, encourage, talk, bring your wife. And that is, I have a lot of reasons. Most of the time when I make videos here, I make it sometimes from the place of passion, or from the place of experience, or from the place of things I see and I hear, just as this one. So I want to quickly tell you the reasons I feel, men, as long as you're living outside your country, why it's important to take your family along with you. I understand there are cases, where maybe before you come to Europe, it has taken you time to bring your wife, but as much as you can, if you get your papers, bring your wife over. And these are the reasons. Because of uncertainty. And this is one of the major reasons I'm making this video, because of uncertainty. Recently, a friend of mine called me and told me that one of our relatives that lives in one European country, the guy died. Even though the guy in question, wasn't married before he died. And there's one thing to die, and another thing, the manera, the way you died. This guy died, and I think it took 2 or 3 days before it was known that he was dead. You can imagine his state when he was found. That gist up till now, that story up till now, only with him, and that's adentro de mi corazón, because I feel like, there are deaths that hurt, and there are deaths that I feel that could be avoided. I feel those kind of things, they hurt me when I know that this is something you can avoid. Apart from that, a few years ago here, there was one man. He's a Nigerian. He should be in his 50s. If I'm not mistaken, he died. The difference is just that he was discovered, I think, the next day. That most times, most bachelors, as long as this place is concerned, they are bachelors. So when they rent an apartment, they just, maybe apartment of 3 or 4 rooms, they will just occupy one room, because it doesn't make sense. Since we pay every month and you're not making use of the other rooms, the normal thing is for them to rent it out. Even at that, do you get, maybe the person that is living next door might be working morning shift, you night shift or afternoon. So most of the time, they are living in the same apartment, but nobody bothers to care about what is going on in somebody's life, because everybody's busy. You're coming in, you're leaving. Do you understand? Maybe weekend, you have not seen the person. You'll be like, let me check if the person is truly around or something like that. But normally, people don't check that, except if you have your own here. That is the only time they can care. And, not that people don't care like that, but since it's a normal thing for you to wake up and it's not what they are thinking about. The fact that it won't that's the way we say it. It won't they'll just be going their business, except maybe they don't see you once in a while, they can ask. So these are the things that I feel, if you bring your family, even if that person is going to die, at least there will be an atmosphere of trying to save the person's life. If eventually the person died, that effort has been made. When I hear these things, I'll be like, I can't imagine what the person struggled that night before the person gave up. Do you understand? Whether night or morning, maybe the person must have struggled, and nobody was there to help. and the person died 1 day, 2 days. And it pained me when I heard that story. May he so rest in peace. So this is one of the reasons. Another uncertainty is in case of severe, sickness, like extreme cases, like maybe in terms of operation. There's an adage I come from that I always use, that there is nobody that climbed up and say, boy, what I'm going to fall. There is no, you can't predict life, basically. Most of the people that are around, maybe they came in their 20s, they came in their 30s, that energy, they used to work. And you must agree with me, if you're living abroad, that a white man that is paying you will make sure that you work for every minute he pays you. It's not like in our country. Some time ago, I had a discussion with one of my relatives that lives in America, a nurse, and he said, if not that Nigerian government, they don't pay nurses well, that he would have preferred to be a nurse in Nigeria because he has time, breathing space. He can have an issue. He can just go out of the gate to get something and all that, But a typical white man, you will pay for every minute that is working. So that makes people work extra hard. Even the break that they'll give you 30 minutes or 1 hour, it will be removed from your salary because that's, of course, you didn't work for that hour. Unlike Nigeria, they'll just pay you monthly. They don't check all those. Do you get? So that makes people, work extra hard. My point is this: when people are working with that energy they came, by the time they work 10, 20, 30 with that pressure of trying to meet up, because that every minute that you don't work, the time might be removed. Imagine you work there since you're 30, 40, 50. You're not praying that something will happen, but you forget that the older you get, the energy will come down. Anything can happen. So because of that kind of uncertainty, or maybe operation, a friend can help you, but there's no friend that will take care of you like your wife. For example, if your wife is here and she's working, and maybe you're sick and you're admitted in the hospital, your wife can take permission from work. Let me take care of my husband. But a friend cannot take permission and say, let me take care of my friend. It will not be allowed. A friend can only take care of you. Only you will stay in that hospital. Maybe when the friend now comes back from work, eats and all, will come and visit you for a few times because he needs to go back and prepare for his own, his own things. But when your wife is here, she'll take proper care of you. It will extend your life. And that takes me to the next: financial burden. I noticed that most men, that their wives, most of their wives don't work. And I understand, if the man leaves and the woman is in Nigeria, the man usually expects the wife to make up for him since he's not around. If the woman starts working, it will be like maybe they left their children in the hands of the nanny. So they expect their wives to be full-time housewives to take care of their children. So that makes the financial burden on the man alone. Do you understand? The man will not stretch himself. He'll pay house rent here and pay house rent in Africa. He'll feed himself, feed his family, which would have been reduced if the wife was here. They'll pay for their house rent. The feeding will be the same until maybe he will be the one that will struggle until maybe he now built his own house. It usually takes time, except maybe they go into all this, you know what I'm talking about. That's why most of them, if they think it and they'll be like, all this monthly, whatever, it will not give me that fast money so that I will settle my family. They have their own house. They'll go into debt, or, they'll go into, doing something that are not right just to, next one, guys, is loneliness. Abroad, man, is lonely, man. Like my American brothers, abroad is lonely, man, if you don't have your family here. To be sincere with you, like we're in cold season. I've been in my house since morning, except maybe it's work that might take me out. The weather is cold, thinking of going outside. You have to spend, if you're at home and you have your family, you won't really feel it. But if it's only you, just takuro. And come to think of it, self, how many years do we have to spend on this earth that you will not spend it with the ones that you love? And ma'am, I don't know if some people don't think the way I'm thinking. Like if you have, we have different types of contracts abroad. You have the yearly contract, and you have, your life contract. Your life contract that you'll be working indefinite until maybe you retire. Then the temporary one is the one you work 1 year, But that 1 year, if you do that one, if you work that 1 year, you come back, you might find it difficult to, fit into another job. So when you have that, a lot of people prefer the indefinite one, But when you have that indefinite one, you're given only, 1 month of your vacation. Do you understand? And sometimes, that 1 month, you might not be able to gather money. So you find out that some people stay like 5 years, 6 years before they travel. And when they travel, they spend 1 month. Sometimes they will spend less than 1 month. Even where I work, there was a time they don't give them up to 1 month. And you see people stay 8 years before they now travel, and they stay with their wife for 2 weeks plus. And I'm just wondering, what's Zele here with life? Is in this life? Material things will fade. Is the memories we keep with the things we put in our children, the memory, the impact, all those things are the things that will stay with them, and the things that you go with. But when you live far from your children, I was told one man the other day when we were talking, and his own that he didn't have a genuine reason, for having to leave the wife, in Africa. He said, "What is my wife coming here today?" I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "No, he doesn't want to bring his wife." I've told him, "Do you know that God forbid if something happens to you, the only thing your wife will miss is that money that you send to her. She will not miss you. Because when you come, perhaps she will just stay you stay a few days, few weeks with her, you go back. And she's just waiting for you. If you have any misunderstanding, maybe you not settle itself. You will just go back. She's waiting for you to go back. Every month you'll be sending money." I'm just saying, but I feel there are a lot of things that won't, be in together. If you really leave your wife and everything. I know that there are exceptions. There was a man that was telling me that when he left, by the time he got his papers, the children they've grown, and because this is not an English-speaking country, bringing the children to fit into the system might be difficult. But my advice as well to him is that to bring the children. If you can bring your children, when you're eligible to your passport, to get your passport, you can get your passport and they can as well leave. But most of the time, we are thinking of what we can see. I used to tell people, when God tells you to do something, when he says a man will leave his family, leave his mother and his wife and cleave leave his mother and his father and cleave to his wife, he's saying it because it's a command that he has given us. Then do it and leave the rest for him. When he told Abraham to use his son for sacrifice, Abraham didn't think that eventually he was going to bring something for sacrifice, but he just obeyed. If you obey God and you allow him to pave way, because I always say that anything that goes contrary to how he said it, there is always a problem. It's either you bring them here, if you cannot, or you feel there's nothing they are coming here to do, then you relocate to Africa. You plan yourself, make us something and relocate to Africa. That's what I feel, Shao. I don't know about you. If you have more reasons that you feel husbands should bring their wives over to wherever they are living. If you're living abroad, I know you must have heard, severally where people died and their bodies were recovered, few days after, or that somebody is sick and all those things. But if you feel there are more things that I have not mentioned, reasons you feel, a man should bring the family, the wife, the family over to live with them that I didn't mention, please, put it down in the comment section. I usually say that when something is placed, when I think of something to talk about and I feel I have to bring it here, it probably be for somebody. Maybe that there are ways people will do something. Our people say, I'm a mihena biana wanawa. Maybe the person is just doing those things and the person, it has not, occurred to him. So maybe if the person sees this video, it might really occur to him that maybe this thing this person is saying might be true, to bring the knowledge back to his senses. Okay, so this is what I want to share with you. If you feel that somebody that needs to hear this, please transport this video to the person. You might be saving somebody's life or somebody's marriage. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to your comments, and I will see you in my next video. The code is too much. I will see you in my next video. Bye.